carved into a mountain. So it's a very traditional country also. We have modern things and then we have traditional things, both equally living together. Like you have Seoul and then you have the Hanok village in Seoul, right? So we have three main things when we eat. So talking about traditional food. Oh, and I'm hungry. So almost all Colombian foods come with rice. What does your food almost come with? Rice. Very similar. If we don't eat rice, which for me personally, I like eating rice with almost all my meals, lunch and dinner, we might have potatoes or we might have plantain or something. We always have meat. Usually we can eat all types of meats in Colombia, pork, chicken, beef, or fish, but usually we eat what kind of meat? Beef. Beef is quite cheap. And then we have fruits and vegetables that we always have, salads and things like that. So, some of our traditional foods. This is our national dish. We call this dish bandeja paisa. Bandeja paisa. Bandeja paisa. Now, this is what we call the farmer's food. Why? Because they have a lot of different things that can give you lots of energy. So, first we have beans. You eat beans, but they're quite sweet. You put them in tok, and then you kind of make them into like a paste. Ours are quite salty, and we always mix them with rice also, but they're salty. We have an avocado, which is that green thing there. It is a vegetable. We have rice. We have plantain, which is like a really big banana, but it is not as sweet. It can be salty. It can be sweet too, but it can also be salty. And then we have a sauce over there. We put that sauce with our meat. Then we have a lime, because the lime, we put it over the meat. We have fried pork. Actually, we put it on top of the fried pork. We have a sausage. We have a fried egg. And we have beef. The beef, we make it almost into a powder so that we can mix it all. Kind of like a bibimbap, we mix it. We like to eat it like that. And then we also eat this. We call this empanadas. Empanadas. Now, what does an empanada look like to you? Mandu, right? It's very similar to mandu. With the difference that the dough, what is the dough? Like the flour dough, okay? Yours is made out of milcadu or flour dough. Ours is made from corn. The outside is made from corn, okay? And we also fry it. Well, you also fry yours in good. You eat it, what do you eat your mandu with? Kanjang. We eat ours with a sauce made from lime, vegetables, tomatoes, and onions. That's how we eat ours. And we put it inside the empanada. You dip it, we put our sauce inside. We take a bite, and then we put the sauce inside. Okay? And that way inside, usually it's beef with a little bit of potato and some vegetables. And that just gives you the extra taste. This is similar to Korean food. Now, a traditional food. This is a very, very traditional food. Oh my God. What is it? An ant. So this is what a regular ant looks like. The regular ants that you see, this is what we call una hormiga culona. Hormiga culona. Hormiga culona. Hormiga means ant or kemi, and culona means butt. Your butt. So it's a big butt ant. That's what we call it. So what do we do with this? How do we eat it? Do we just pick it up and eat it? No, of course not. We fry them. Like this. We fry them. And then we put some salt with them. Everybody's going like, oh my God, ah. But actually, this is kind of similar to a certain Korean food. What food? Pondegi, right? It's the same thing. Except ours is crunchy and salty, and yours is like made with a certain sauce, and I believe you grill it or bake it or something. So yeah, it's kind of the same. It's not so bad. And actually, I've had this. They actually sell some of these in a certain region. So in Korea, when you go to the movies, you want to eat squid, right? Or popcorn or something like that. They sell this. Oh, but it's so good. It tastes like popcorn. And these days, they have many flavors. They have a spicy flavor. They have a sweet flavor. So, very good. And then, can you guess what a Colombian person's favorite drink is?
Coffee.
Coffee. We love coffee. Why do we love coffee? Do you know?
Colombia coffee.
Yes, we grow it. These are our coffee fields, which kind of look like your tea field. I guess they all look the same. But coffee actually has to grow on the side of a mountain. The elevation is very important to make a good coffee. So countries that grow coffee are usually tropical countries, because you need warm weather, that have mountains. And this is what a coffee bean looks like before you process it. Okay, before you process it. And this is the roasted coffee with the fresh coffee beans. Okay, and then we have sports. Who likes sports here? Who likes to play sports? Raise your hand if you like sports. What kind of sports do you like to play? Badminton, soccer, what? Baseball. Okay, these are kind of the big sports in Korea. You also have your own sports like volleyball, right? Well, what is Korea's favorite sport?
Baseball. Soccer.
Soccer. We love soccer. This is Federación Colombiana de Fútbol. This is always on the jersey, which I forgot to bring my jersey. I would have shown you. But we put this on our jersey. We sell the jersey for the people because we are very proud of our teams. Now, if you like soccer and you're a good fan of soccer, can you name any Colombian soccer stars?
Rodriguez.
James Rodriguez. There you go. He is very famous. Why is he famous?
World Cup.
In the World Cup. For the FIFA World Cup, the last one was in Brazil, right? In Brazil, he scored 6 goals. So he pretty much scored a goal for each of his games. And he became really famous because the other famous guy, Falcao, did not go because he was injured. So James Rodriguez is now really, really famous in Colombia. Everybody knows his face. And he is now, I think, in Madrid, playing for Madrid, for Barca. Not sure. Also, we have many famous actors. Who has seen the show Modern Family? Has anybody seen the show Modern Family? You have? Is it a funny show? It's a comedy show. It's an American comedy show. This is what it is. You have a mom and a dad. You have an international couple. You have 2 children, a couple of children, a mom right there, and then you have a same-sex couple. Okay, so it's a very comedy show. And this lady here, she is Colombian. If you ever have time to watch the show, I recommend watching the show. She is very funny. Sometimes we show it to our students for culture things because it shows the modern American family. But this is her, Sofia Vergara. Can anybody guess her age? 30s. She's actually older than that. She is older. She should be like in her 40s, almost 50s. But she looks very good. She takes care of herself very well. If you hear her accent, it's a very typical accent from a Colombian person learning English, from a Spanish person learning English. So it's you can tell who she is immediately. My mom is actually from her same hometown. Oh. And then we have this man, Gabriel Garcia Marquez. He wrote a very famous novel that won a Nobel Prize, 100 Years of Solitude. Something. 백년동? Yeah, 100 years of solitude. It is a very famous Latin American book. Almost all people in Colombia have to study this book. In universities, if you take Spanish and you take Latin American culture, you have to study this book. Why? Because it shows a very traditional Colombian or Latin American culture, and it shows how family is very important and how people interact with each other culturally. So it is a very important book. This is the cover. Cien Años de Soledad is the name in Spanish. And it is a very defining book. Also, it is the beginning of a specific Latin American theme, which is magical realism, which is a very Latin American Colombian theme. Also, Fernando Botero, this man. What do you think he does? What does he look like? A politician? No, he's not a politician. Huh? President? No.
Is he scientist?
He is an artist. Wow. Did your homework. This is his art. They are all what? What are they? Skinny or fat? They are all very fat. There's a big museum. He is from Medellin, the second biggest city. And if you go to Medellin ever in your life, you will see all of his statues and things around in the city. Also, if you travel around the world, you can see his statues like this one. It's a very big one. I've personally been to Singapore, and there in Singapore, I look at a statue there, and I'm like, oh, this looks really familiar. Oh. I look around, and then I look this way. Oh, I think it's Botero. And then I look down and it says Botero. So I was like, oh, I know my people. And actually, if you ever want to see a Botero here in Korea, you can. Where do you think you can see it?
Seoul?
No. In Seoul, you can see it, but where? Not the art center. You can see it actually at the Colombian embassy. Ah, but where is the Colombian embassy? In Gwanghamun. Okay? Gwanghamun by the big Sejong, near the American embassy, there's a big building, the Kyobo building. Inside, you can see the Botero. One or two, I think. They have a big statue. So if you ever want to see a Botero in real life, you can go there. And then we have this lady, this lovely lady. Who is she? Do you know? She has done 2 FIFA World Cup songs. She is Shakira, international music star, Shakira. She did 2 songs. You know that one song that goes like, Waka, Waka. She did that one. And then this last FIFA World Cup, she also did that. She's a very famous singer, and she is also dating a very famous Spanish soccer star. So she is one of our biggest stars. Okay, and so music. Colombia has a lot of different kinds of people, right? A lot of people, a lot of mixed people. So we have a lot of musical traditions. We have a long history, and we have a lot of kinds of dances and music. So I'm actually going to show you a video of it, okay? So these are regional ones from different areas of the country. Traditional ones of the farmers, and these are usually courting. Do you know what courting is? When the man wants to date a woman. So these are our European ones, the ones that come from like a polka and stuff. This is what they became in Colombia. These are from our cowboys. And then we have a big African population. These are from our African descendants. These are the African songs. And this is from Carnaval. Carnaval is like the same one in Brazil. You know what Carnaval is, right? It is the same one. We have the second biggest in the world also. And then the natives. And that's it. So thank you very much. Or in Spanish we say gracias. Thank you.
Thank you for your brilliant lecture. 자, 우리 카스트로님께 박수 한번 보내주세요. 그러면 첫 번째 조부터 그리고 말씀하실 때는 그쵸, 긴장도 되고 좀 떨리기도 하고 그렇잖아요. 또 마이크 들고 이렇게 앞에서 말하려면 본인 소개도 크게 하시고 유창하게 잘 안 하셔도 돼요. 자신감 갖고 큰 소리로 질문하시면 그쵸? 좋을 것 같아요. 그럼 첫 번째 그룹부터 할까요? 자, 첫 번째 그룹 한번 그러면 발표자랑 튜터랑 같이 한번 나와주세요.
Hi, we're from Group 1 and I'm tutor Kim Kyung-hee. We have 3 questions for him and we will start from now on.
My name is Nam Jubin and I'm curious about traditional clothing.
Traditional clothing. Usually I talk about it, but because of the time, I didn't have time. Today we just dress like this, like every other modern country, but originally we have what we call a ruana, which is like a big kind of sheet with a hole in the middle, and you put it over like this, and it keeps you warm high up in the mountains. Also, we have a traditional hat that is called sombrero volteado, and that hat is made from a natural leaf, and you put it together.
Thank you.
My name is Cha Ju-yeop, and I was interested in how Colombian study compared to Korea.
Koreans study very hard, and they have hagwons and they stay late hours. But Colombians, most people, we have both public school and private school, but most people go to private schools. And you start early, maybe around 8 in the morning, like in Korea, but you finish much, much earlier, maybe around 3 p.m.
Thank you.
My name is Chang Jae-ho, and I want to ask that there is tablets in different regions.
Yes, Colombia has many, many mountains. So because in between the mountains you get different culture, like regions. So similar to Korea. So certain areas by the sea speak more like with a sharp and lots of intonation. If you live high up in the mountains, you kind of sing it more. It sounds more sing-songy. So the intonations and the different dialects are a lot. And if you meet a different Colombian and you hear them, you immediately know, oh, you're from this area.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, Colombia. It's with an O. With an O. C-O-L-O. There's 2 O's in Colombia, everybody.
Hi, we are Group 2, and I am Kim Soo-won of Group 2. We have discussed so many things, and we choose 3 questions to ask you.
My name is Shin Soo-hyun, and you told us that Colombia has lots of different religions. I'm wondering if you have lots of religion conflicts or civil wars.
No. Most people have now converted to Catholicism. Those that aren't, it's not a big problem. Most people just kind of respect each other's religions. Sometimes in the native area, the natives don't want to change, or they didn't want to change. Or a long time ago, when Spain first came, there was a lot of conflict. But now everybody is very respectful of each other's religions, and there's no problems.
Hi, my name is Song Sonu, and I want to ask, what is the meaning of Fernando Modelo's artwork?
Fernando Modelo's artwork, that's a very good question. To be honest, it's like he draws a lot of political drawings, and a lot of his drawings have very political meanings because the history of Colombia has lots of problem in politics. So a lot of the things that he used to draw were of presidents and things like that. However, the aspect of being fat, we don't know why. He just likes fat people.
Hello, my name is Kang Yun-ha. When did you eat big butt ants?
I ate for the first time big butt ants when I went to Colombia in 2009 or 8 maybe. I went on a trip to that area that's very common, and I was really curious, and they were selling it like street food. So I bought a pack, and then I ate it. It's really good. It tastes like popcorn. I recommend it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
From Group 3, and my name is Kim Ji-young, tutor of Group 3, and we have 2 questions. One is that according to your lecture, on the flag, the color red means mixed races, different races, and I guess there isn't any race discrimination in Colombia.
A long time ago, like any country that first encounters new races, there were problems with the racial division. There's a whole, and I could teach so much about it, but there was a whole caste system based on how mixed you were. I wouldn't say that there is per se racial problems in Colombia where they're very honest about it. However, it is a deep-seated historical problem in Colombia. However, most people would never treat another person badly because of their race.
Is there any famous sightseeing in Colombia?
Yes, we have in Colombia we have many. The church that I showed you in the picture,